top of the middle of the day to you boys and girls. We're actually in the heat of the day, I guess, at this point. Although it's a little bit cooler. It's kind of nice little relief. Anyway, long story short, we have a MS661. This saw has the, I guess, essentially for the 661s, it's a Psycho level zip kit. I took that about as far as it can go. It's as far as I've ever gone in any of those particular saws right there. Kind of an experimental operation. I don't know if you can see, but in the side of the boot are 3 holes where you can adjust the carburetor. This has an unlimited version coil, fully adjustable carburetor, so the M-tronic system is no longer part of the equation with this saw. Keep in mind that the M-tronic system runs your saw very lean, 14.7 to 1 at the minimum. I've heard as high as 17 to 1. That'd be air to fuel ratio, so mix oil, mix oil, mix oil. That's highly critical with these saws that run lean. This is a 1 series stratification process. They're using exhaust. It has a quad loop design in the cylinder assembly. We're going to run it with a 32-inch Stihl lightweight bar and some semi-skip steel chain. Same one I've been using in all the test sessions of this saw against the 066. But we're going to match it up this time against my 064, which is no longer sporting the 52 millimeter bore. That saw ran about the same as the Insano SS version 461s, giving up, well, the 461s are giving up a lot of displacement. You go from about 76.5 to about 85 essentially. So one of the things, limiting factor, this is an early version serial number saw, so it had the 3-pole ignition, got rid of that. And I also upgraded the intake manifold. The early version was a little bit different design than the later version, which is the same on the 660s all the way through the process. And it actually has a bigger opening at the start of the manifold itself, allowing more air-fuel mixture to pass through the system. So I upgraded that as well as putting a 54 millimeter 066 cylinder assembly on it. I didn't do any further than the standard Insano zip kit, since this saw has 2.5 or 3 million boards on the bottom end. At this point, I wanted to kind of take it easy before we got too squirrely. So if she lives through this process, maybe we'll get kind of more radicalized. But anyway, my lovely bride's going to help with the tack. We'll make a couple test cuts, and we won't be running them too high RPM wise. Here we go. Thanks, dear. Okay, so personally I think that the 661 is going to run a little bit faster, even though they're relatively close in displacement. Again, the 661 has a lot of combustion chamber work. The 064, technically it's a 660 or 066 now. It does not. So it's about 1.2 pounds lighter than the 661. I fueled them both up and filled up both the gas and oil tanks and noticed that they were 1.2 pounds different in weight. So that's quite a bit at the end of the day, and it's a lot on a Thursday about noon actually. From personal experience I know Thursday's kind of an interesting day a lot of times. I'm well pleased at how this saw is running. We're going to have to work a little bit further at getting the low end dialed in a little bit. But we're not idling much, I guess, doing anything. So we're not going to be too worried about it necessarily. I'll be checking the timed runs. I'll be putting that information into the description area to see how well the new little saw that could does. Anyway, thanks for watching this session. Have a blessed day wherever you might be on God's green earth.